Hey everyone, this is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sublimation graphics and tutorials here on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, please be sure to come join our Facebook group where all of our videos air live before they are added to our YouTube channel unedited. And if you're catching us live on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can find our videos after they are live in our neatly organized playlists. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to sublimate a microfiber waffle towel. Now you've probably seen these around. They are about 16 by 24 inches. They are 80% polyester and 20% polyamide. I personally love these. You'll notice in my shop I've got somewhere around 200 different designs that are just for waffle towels, or at least in the mind of being for waffle towels. There is seasonal designs, there is funny food puns, and then there's of course plenty of monogram designs. These are an excellent item to push for the upcoming holiday and all year round. They make great gifts for pretty much every occasion. They are very affordable to produce and they have a pretty high profit margin. This is also a great item if you are into wholesaling because you can sell these in quantities and make some good money there. So today, I have demoed these of course before, but I'm always demoing different brands. This particular brand is Microfiber Wholesale. You can get better rates if you order direct from their website and sign up for a wholesale account, but I actually ordered these off of Amazon because I just wanted them quicker, and it was 6 towels for $18, so that's $3 each. There are quite a few different places that sell this. Basically, you're just going to be looking for a 16 by 24 waffle weave towel that is 80% polyester and 20% polyamide. Now, the reason why I like these is because they don't have that like weird cling rough texture, and you can wash these tons of times and they maintain the vibrancy of the design that you're going to print on them. Of course, these are easy to customize as well, as you're about to see. And they just kind of make a great item for displaying on your kitchen. Oh, and they're absorbent. Sorry, that's probably the one big reason why I like them so much. I use these all over my house because they are absorbent, and a lot of those microfiber towels are not. So of course, that's very frustrating if you actually want to use the towel for cleaning. So I recommend these ones. And of course, like I mentioned, there are a lot of different brands out there. So if for some reason they're out of stock someplace, just look for them. But I did find these on Amazon. I have ordered from the website in the past, but now that they are, like many companies, starting to make their products available on Amazon so they can reach their customers better, why not take advantage of that Amazon Prime 2-day shipping, you know? All right, so I always recommend that the way that I recommend you do your designs is if you take the towel the long way, and you make it so the sides are folded in right on the center, and then we'll do our design this distance, which is going to be about 7 inches. So between 6.5 and 7 inches is what you're going for, so that way when it hangs over the oven rack, it will have a nice size design that will fill, it should fill about to here. So this is about the size of our design. Sorry, let's cover my mouth up. Anyways, so these are a really great item, and you could always do full print on these. I'll definitely do a video on that soon. That's just not what today's video is. And yeah, so I'm gonna first go ahead and show you guys how to set everything up in the print software. I personally use Affinity Designer, but the steps are really the same no matter what program you're using. And then I'll show you guys how to sublimate these fast and easy for a nice profitable item for your business. Today I'm going to be working in Affinity Designer on a Windows laptop. Regardless of what design program you're using, you'll find that the steps to import and resize a graphic are pretty much all the same. In Affinity Designer, we're going to start by going to File and New Document. If we click on the tab that says Print, you'll find preloaded page sizes that align with the different sizes that you may be able to print with your printer. I always like to set my page size or my document workspace to the same size as the page I will be printing on. I find that for many of the beginners in our group, this makes an easier visual, and it ensures that everything that's laid out on your page is going to print at the correct size when you send it to the printer. Because our designs are going to be 7 by 7 and we're doing 2 towels, I am going to select ledger side because this will allow enough room for both designs on one page. This is also known as tabloid, but it's the 11-inch by 17-inch paper. Since it's already selected, we'll just go ahead and hit create. This blue line represents margins, but this is not the correct margins for our Workforce 7710 printer. If yours happens to pick up the margins from your daily printer, like mine did, you'll go ahead and select Document Setup, click on Margins, and then you can choose to manually enter in the different sizes, or you can hit Retrieve from Printer. As long as your printer is on and you've recently printed with it, it will pick up those margins for you. If for some reason it doesn't accurately pick up the margins, the correct margins for Workforce printers is as stated here, 0.117. Next, we're going to import our file. There's 2 ways of importing a file into Affinity Designer. The first is by selecting the Place Image tool, which is this picture tool in our sidebar. The second is to go to File and then Place. Both operate the same and will open up your Documents folder. Today I'm going to go ahead and pick one of the designs from our Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Friday collaboration bundle. This bundle features 8 different designers, so if you happen to snag it, you got 56 designs for $24.99. Unfortunately, if you're watching this after September 25th, 2020, this bundle is no longer available as it is a limited time, but you can still visit any of these shops listed here and get the individual designs that were included. I'm going to go ahead and select one from Southern Fried Graphics. Oop, it looks like my file type is not on the correct one, so let's try that again. There we go. And I'm going to select this Thankful design and click Open. Now, when you go to open a new file, you'll see that you get a little down arrow with a portal. You want to make sure that you click and drag anytime you're importing a graphic. If you simply click, your graphic will import at the maximum size, which can often be frustrating. Next, we're going to resize our design. We'll do this by going over to where it says Navigator. Oops, sorry. To going over to where it says Transform, making sure our aspect ratio is locked, which it is, which is shown by these little brackets. If we click on that again, there's no brackets. That means that it's not locked. Locking the aspect ratio ensures that the proportions are kept the same when you resize your design. Typically, you would choose to resize whichever dimension is bigger. In this case, since this is a square, we can just go right ahead and resize either one. I'm going to choose the width, and I will do 6.75 inches. Now I'm just going to move that up so that it is out of the way. And we just want to duplicate this. So in our layers panel, we will right click on the name of our layer, which is our Thankful Harvest design, and we will hit duplicate. Now we have 2 and they're both the same size. You can align these anywhere on the page how you would like. If you wanted to align them up in the corner, you could leave space to print additional smaller designs in the sidebar, but we don't need to do that today. For today, I'm just going to give them some nice space in the center with plenty of room around the edge so we get nice full designs. If you're wondering about that line that keeps appearing, that green lines, that is called snapping grids. They are activated anytime you have the snapping grid icon turned on, which is this one in your toolbar that looks like a magnet. If I click that off, you see there's no grids. The grids help you identify not only the center of your page in both directions on the X and Y axis, but also lets you know if you're aligned with other elements on the page. So if we click that on again and you watch the lines, we can see here that the green edges on the outer sides show that we are lined up with the design below it. If we were to move this over, we get another green line representing the edge of the bottom design, and it shows that we are halfway through on the top design. If we were to move this down, you'll see that red line appears to show us that the bottom of our top design is aligned with the top of the bottom design. I think you get the idea. So I'm just going to go ahead and set these here, and now we're ready to print. To print our graphic, it's as simple as going to File and then Print. Now I'm using printer jack ink and paper, so I have my own settings set up. Yours may be different depending on your ink. To make sure that your pages are all in the correct size, you go ahead and hit Properties, and you'll want to manually enter any relevant information in your printer dialog box, which is this white box that pops up. Again, the settings that you use may be dependent on your ink type. So please do not copy the ones that you see on the screen, as these may not be the appropriate ones for your specific ink. I am using a Workforce 7710 with printer jack paper and ink. I have Super B paper selected, which is not the correct size, so I'm going to go ahead and select my tabloid print. All of my settings are already saved in my printer dialog box, so I can just hit OK, and we are ready to print. So now we're going to head over to the printer to grab our design, and we will go right ahead and show you guys how to press our microfiber waffle weave towels.
So here's a look at everything that we're going to need to sublimate our waffle towels. We have our transfers, which we just printed with our Workforce 7710 using printer jack ink and paper. A paper cutter so we can cut apart and trim our designs. A laser level, which I always like to use to make sure our designs are straight. A lint roller, which is essential for this particular project. And 2 of our waffle towels from Microfiber Wholesale that measure 16 by 24 inches. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and trim my transfers. I like to trim them as close to the edges as possible, the edges of the design, just to make it easier when you are trying to center things. So there's one. You know, and these don't have to be like perfect or anything like that. It's really just about you being able to do your best job at aligning them on your towel. Okay, now we can go ahead and move over to our heat press and get these sublimated. Put that back a little bit, turn you guys up. This is our new Endurapress. It is a swing away. Let me see if I can make you guys a little bit taller. There we go. All right. We decided to upgrade our heat press because my sister got involved in sublimation and needed a heat press. So I did a little swap with a friend of mine and then sent my friend's heat press to my sister. I really like this heat press. This is my first official tutorial with it. You see it's pretty big. It takes up a lot of space. I actually had to build a whole new tabletop for it. And it does swing away. And I really like this super nice digital screen that it's got. It's got little, they're very sensitive to the touch to adjust everything. All right, so I ordered mine through iColor, who does have some on hand. If you guys are interested, you can email sales@icolorprint.com. This is also available through Sign Warehouse. So go ahead and get that out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and place our first towel up there. Now you want to make sure that if your towel has a tag, you're not pressing on that particular side. And you also want to make sure that your tag is underneath for where the design is going. You always want to lint roll any kind of fabric just in case there's hair, dust, lint, anything like that on there, because if you don't, you'll end up with little blue fuzzies all over your design. So we'll give this a quick lint roll. And then we're going to go ahead and pre-press. Now we don't need to pre-press the whole towel. We're only going to worry about pre-pressing the actual part that we are sublimating. Now pre-pressing is very important because it helps get any of the moisture that's in our fabric out and also alleviates any wrinkles. Getting the moisture out is crucial because this helps prevent ghosting. Ghosting is actually caused by when your transfer is on your substrate and the fibers start to shrink as that moisture is being evaporated out of them. If you're a little confused by this concept, just think about your clothes when you take them out of the dryer. So contrary to what a lot of other people will try and tell you, this is the actual reason why ghosting happens. It's because of that shrinkage and inadequate pre-pressing. So we're going to use medium light pressure. So depending on your heat press, you kind of have to judge it based on how much resistance you get going down. So go ahead and snap this shut. And we're going to pre-press for 30 seconds. Anytime you have to pre-press, a good rule of thumb is to do half of the time you would actually press the item. So we would press these towels with our design on them for 55 to 60 seconds. So doing 30 seconds for a pre-press is just about right. All right. All right, so we'll flatten it back out, and then we're going to go ahead and place our design. Now, our towel is upside down, so we're going to go ahead and make sure our design is placed upside down. I just want you guys to see that again. I could flip this way and have this part that's hanging out the back, but then I would risk burning myself. So I always like to just hang it this way and make sure my design is upside down when I place it. Don't worry if you make a mistake with this. We all do it. We're going to go ahead and measure just to make sure we've got equidistance. I got this great new tape measure for those of you who can't read or don't know how to read the numbers. This one has numbers. I thought this would be great for tutorials, and it was only $3 at Walmart. It's a Hyper Tough. It's one of those exclusive brands of Walmart. So I'm just going to check the edge of my design and see the distance it is from the edge. We've got 4.5 on this side and 4 3/4 on this side. So we can actually move this over just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and use our laser level. Turn that on. If you don't know how to use a laser level, see if you guys can see the little bubble there. Basically, the goal is that your bubbles are in the center. And when your bubbles are in the center, you have a straight line. Pretty easy. So what I like to do is set this on the edge of my press or on the edge of my substrate, and then line it up with the bottom line of my design. Make sure that my little bubble is centered. You guys can't see it, but it is centered. And then adjust the design to fit along that line. Now we're actually pretty straight because you tend to get better at this the more you do. Now you can choose to use some adhesive if you'd like. It could be tape, it could be adhesive spray. I'll just go ahead and pop 2 little pieces of tape on here to make it easy. And just for you guys, I generally, when I am making stuff, don't really use adhesives. I don't have an issue, but for those of you who do, this is definitely a smart option. And then the last thing that we need is some blowout paper. I just like to use painter's masking paper. It's really easy to get at Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight Tools, Walmart. It's like $2 for a roll. That's my favorite. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and close our heat press. We are doing this at 380 degrees for 55 seconds. You can do 60 seconds. A lot of that will just kind of depend on what paper you're using. So printer jack sublimation paper has a higher release rate. So I have found that doing about 5 to 10 seconds less on all of my substrates ensures that I don't end up with too dark of a transfer from it overcooking. So we are doing 2 of these towels today, so you have to see the process twice to make sure that you guys definitely get it. And these are great to sell in pairs or in trios. My rule of thumb is that if you're doing anything that's one design, you can sell it in pairs. And if you're doing anything that's in trios, obviously 3 different designs. If you check out my shop, you'll notice that most of my designs for waffle towels are actually in trio sets for this reason. So you are just about ready. Right. Lift our press. Oop, move that over, try to hit the wall. We'll take off our blowout paper and then now we want to move quickly, and while this is still hot, we want to go ahead and lint roll it. This is going to help revive your waffles. Very important. You see posts all the time where people's waffles have gotten flattened. It's a bigger issue when you're using a clamshell. Because with the swing away, you can get even pressure front to back, and the clamshell you can't. All right, so let me kind of fold this the way I was showing you. There. And just like that, someone can hang that over their stove. It's beautiful, right? Again, this design is from Southern Fried Graphics. And if you happen to be catching this video before the September 25th, 2020, you can grab the exclusive designer collaboration bundle that features 56 designs from 8 designers, and this is one of them. Otherwise, you'll have to visit Southern Fried Graphics after that date to get your second one, or to buy them individually, sorry. So here's our second towel. Same thing again, gonna make sure that I've got the cloth part turned down, or the tag part turned down, sorry guys. We'll get it up on our press, and we're gonna go ahead and start with a pre-press. That little corner flopped up is giving me a little issue. There we go. All right, so once again, we're gonna start by pre-pressing this for 30 seconds. We're doing this at 380 degrees because this is the best temperature for doing our waffle towels. And you can see that the design that we did, crisp, bright, beautiful, looks wonderful. So we'll start by pre-pressing to get that moisture out so that we're less likely to have a chance of ghosting. And we're gonna lint roll now because I forgot to do it before we did that. These just came out of the package, so honestly, there's probably nothing on them. But for the sake of making sure that you guys watching don't end up screwing this up, I'm going to do it again. So we'll place our design here. And we know from our first towel that our design needs to be 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches, or sorry, 4 5/8 inches. So this is way too far over. So we'll go ahead and move that one over just a little bit. Okay. And we'll check the other side. Oh no, that's too far. It's always good to triple check. Okay, so that you don't end up. Oh, I think this towel might be stitched just a little bit bigger. Okay. All right, the next thing is we want to make sure before we make sure this is straight, that since we're going to do these in pairs, that our towels are the same, the design is in the same placement. So I find it easiest just to line this up and then check my design against it. That's the best way to do it, especially because sometimes your towels might not be hem straight. It definitely depends on what company you get them from. And honestly, there's just manufacturing flaws now and then that you have to deal with. So once again, we'll get our laser level going. This is from Walmart. I get that question all the time. Laser level from Walmart, I think they're like $16 now. They used to be $12. So apparently they decided that it needed to be more expensive. Okay, and our design is straight. So we are good to go once we add a little bit of tape. So once again, I'm just gonna tape 2 corners, quick and easily. Put some blowout paper on here. Now the blowout paper is to prevent any ink that might gas out the back of your page from getting on your heat press and transferring to your next substrate. So blowout paper is very important. All right, once again, we are doing medium light pressure, 380 degrees for 55 to 60 seconds. I'm doing 55 today because I'm using a high release paper, but again, depending on your paper and ink, you may need to make some adjustments. You also might need to make some adjustments depending on your press. So all of these things are factors into what you should be doing for your substrates, and you kind of have to just use your best judgment. The more you do, the easier it gets. So that's always a good thing to know. But I promise you, once you're used to your heat press, the sky is the limit and you'll be able to endlessly modify. We have just about 13 seconds left. So I will mention that when you're selling these, I like to do 3 of them for $28 with free shipping, or do two of them for $18, and then the shipping is about $3 because you can easily just stick these in a poly mailer and send them on their way. All right, so once again, we're gonna pull off our design, and while this is still hot, we want to go ahead and lint roll. That's so important that you do this while it is hot because that will revive your waffles. And again, especially if you're using a clamshell, because you're not getting that even pressure front to back, you want to make sure that any waffles that got a little more smush than others are all even. So we'll fold. Again, edge to edge in the center. I mean, it's not perfectly centered, but my folding is not perfectly centered, but there is our towel. So let's go ahead and look at these together. My calendar fell on the floor. All right. So here are our 2 waffle towels. Now let's talk about cost. I mentioned that I did get these off of Amazon. So I spent a little bit more than I probably would if I ordered in larger quantities direct from the company, but that's still $3. And to print an 11 by 17 print, I usually factor about 65 cents, which includes the cost of paper and ink. So not a whole lot. Realistically, it probably actually costs less because these designs are not full page designs. But as long as you have a good general idea, you can set your pricing. So that means that our all-in cost here is $7 for these 2 towels. We know that it will cost about $3 to ship these anywhere in the United States in a poly mailer, which is absolutely the way that you should ship them because it is the most affordable option. So with that said, you can sell 2 for $18 and make $8 profit. You could do 3 for $24 and charge extra for shipping, but people like seeing free shipping. So selling 3 and doing them for $28 is a much better way to go about it because it's more attractive to your customers. I think that waffle towels are one of the easiest products to move, and you can put almost anything on them. As I mentioned, I have endless numbers of designs on my website that work for these, and these designs that were part of our bundle is also perfect. I'm so excited to hang these on my stove. I would probably give them as a gift if they weren't so pretty, but I think I'll keep them for myself this time. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll be sure to answer them. If you're joining us on YouTube, commenting is turned off. So if you have questions, head on over to Sublimation graphics and tutorials and post any questions that you have in our group. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great night and thank you for joining us. And don't forget to check the video description for all the products that we use today.